Are live. What's up, everybody? Welcome to Coaster Maniacs. We are here for episode 2 of the Theme Park Wars. I am joined today by Theme Park Extreme.
Hello, peoples. This should be some fun, I think, possibly.
This is going to be something. So today, if you haven't figured it out by the thumbnail, or if you probably can't see in the background. So we'll start with you. What theme park did you choose to combat me
The
on?
Great Thorpe Park, yes, as it used to be called. But yeah, Thorpe Park Resort in Staines, England, where I am right now. But yeah, it's my home park, and I've visited for quite a lot of years. So yeah, it's my favourite.
Thor
Even got my
Park.
map right here in my hands,
Speaking of
and the
that
Thorpe
map,
Park Cup.
we will be giving away that map
Yes,
a little bit
yes,
later
this
on in
this
the
exact
stream.
map.
Yeah, so if you have never been to Thorpe Park, or if you are not even from England and you want something that's pretty cool, like I would love to enter that myself if I had the chance to.
Well,
Um,
I can send you one as well because I have two. If you
uh,
really want, I can send you one as well.
let's dive into. So that's your park. I chose Six Flags Great Adventure. So this is going to be an interesting
Yeah,
a
I
war.
don't really know much about Six Flags Great Adventure, other than the operations in Six Flags ain't very good. So,
Fair. It depends on which one you go to. And same, I don't really know much about Thorpe, so it looks like we're both going to be learning something new today. Let's jump
basically,
into
tell me
the
what's all
chat
about.
here. WWE
Yeah,
Inside Access, welcome. How are you doing, my friend? Laps and Coasters, how you doing, buddy? William's
it's like
here.
we know. It's like we know most of the people in the chat.
That sometimes is the way to go. Thrill
Yeah.
Seeks, thanks for joining. I'm getting maps. Hey, uh, I didn't think.
Right.
To be fair, I didn't think of storing up maps. I do have some actually from Six Flags New England and Cedar Point. The only map I really thought to keep was the Cedar Point. When they took off Main Streak, and said that it's not a coaster anymore. Right before they did the construction on it. So they all you saw on the map was just a blank space where Mean Streak was. It was kind of funny.
Yeah.
And I have that map somewhere. Where? I don't know. But, cracking on. Alright. I'm glad that
Yeah.
I lost the script. Yeah, I don't know how you did that, bud.
I was just thinking if I can find it, I'll send you right now on Twitter. You can even put it up on the screen. Recently I organised all my maps. It took quite a while. I was going to do a video on it. I was recording a video, and the video was like an hour and a half, and I don't think people want to watch somebody just stacking maps for an hour and a half, unless you really are dedicated. But yeah, I'll show you this on Twitter now. I'll show you this.
Let's
There's
see.
all of my maps, somewhat organised.
We are going to start with, speaking of a map, a park map here. I believe it's Thorpe Park that I have queued up
Yes,
first. So
yes.
let's put this up here. Yep, it's Thorpe Park. Alright, so same as last week, it'd be a little bit of going through the park map a little bit. I got the chat up there too, so you can't really see. Let me move the chat away for a split second. Live. There we go. Alright. So talk me through this very cartoony looking map.
Yeah. Let me get that up on here. Yes. Right. The best way of me doing it is if I have it up on here, and then I can just. Sorry, 2 seconds. Just gonna get it up on here as well, because then it's a lot easier if I have the map. We just go on Google quickly, and I will get that up. And then
I
we'll look
mentioned
at
this the last Park Wars. There's definitely a cartoony feel to these. I mean, just looking at that.
Yeah, but actually, funny enough, you're talking about cartoony maps. Now, you say that's cartoony. You say that's cartoony, do you? So look at this. from 2010. Look how much more cartoony that is.
Yeah, let me take this away real quick. Yeah.
There's even people throwing up on the roller coasters on the actual thing, which is rather funny.
What are they doing?
Yeah.
I mean, that compared
So
to this, yeah, okay. So they definitely made it a little bit better, but still very cartoony, if I have to say.
Yeah, very much so. Right, while we go through the map, I will have it up on here, and we have a bit more. Now I can reference it a bit easier. I see that there. Right, there we go. Cool. Right, now I'm ready to go. So, with Thorpe Park, it is marketed as the island like no other. The reason for this, it isn't actually an island, but it looks like an island and genuinely feels like an island. So I guess I understand that's why. But literally, you go through the turnstiles, and the first thing you have is a bridge that goes onto the island. And the way it looks, there's water around both sides, so you can't really see the back of it. So it genuinely looks like a massive island. It's actually the site of an old quarry, and the whole of Thorpe Park is a man-made land, so man-built land. I think a bit like Disneyland is mostly man-made land as well. But yeah, so pretty much the whole thing is completely man-made. The whole land, for instance, especially the Swarm Island, but that's from a couple of years earlier on. So the map we have here is from 2019. I say summer 2019 just because it has the advertising for all of the events. Now, 2019, they kind of pushed even more so than ever events. They added it to the lineup. Instead of having a new ride, they decided, you know what we're going to do? We're going to have events over the summer holidays. So we had Game Effects, which was a gaming event, Bouncilla, which was a massive inflatable course. I think it was Europe's biggest inflatable. And then we also had Jungle Escape, which was a escape room trial style attraction, all temporary, open in that year. But now let's look about the actual parks here. So you enter the park on this bridge, and then on to the right is their hotel. You can't really call it a hotel because it's shipping containers. So every single room in their hotel is shipping containers with like a bunk bed and a double bed, but it's still like £160 to £200 a night.
To
So
be
I don't know
fair,
how
that's
much
what
of a
Cedar Point does too. They call it a hotel, but it's tiny, tiny rooms.
yeah. That's crazy. It is pretty cool because it's called the Thorpe Shark Hotel, and it has at the front of it an actual like architecture thing of a shark made out of loads of old ride signs and ride tracks. So that's pretty cool. Talking about ride track, as soon as you enter the car park at Thorpe Park, it's got roller coaster track. There's an arch at the front of the car park with roller coaster track, and then the sign for Thorpe Park. So
Okay.
that's pretty cool, and it's real coaster track as well.
It's a corkscrew, isn't it?
Yeah, kind of.
I've seen that.
Oh, that's Alton Towers.
On Towers.
That's Alton Towers. Alton Towers, actually, I thought I'd say this is actually quite cool. So when they scrapped their old ride, the corkscrew, they thought, you know what, we're going to keep the corkscrew. So they actually kept one of the elements, and it's at the front of the park. And you can touch it, and I think they paint it every couple of years to keep it fresh. But yeah, let's go back to Thorpe Park, the one we're actually talking about.
Yeah.
So it's got the island aesthetic. I think the thing is with this is it's very much a small version of Cedar Point because it's like like that kind of like island aesthetic kind of thing. If you get what I mean, like you got water on both sides of you, I guess.
I can
So
see
that's
that.
also but the only interesting thing about Thorpe Park, so the front of it is all water, but the sides of it, and then the very back of it is all onto like a main pathway, which is quite cool. It's a public pathway that runs around the whole back of Thorpe Park. So that is actually pretty cool. It means that like you can when the park's closed over the close season, you can go down the public pathway around the whole back of the park, which is of course quite nice if you haven't been for a couple of months. But yeah, back into the park. So you enter through like the bridge that kind of really does put you from like outside the park into a new kind of world. It's the best way to put it, but it is really, really cool. And actually, a couple of years back, they rethemed their entrance plaza to much more of like guess like a holiday depot of sorts. So you have like loads of luggage and random other bits and bobs to make it much more feel like you're going to the island. You know, you're actually transporting to the island, which of
That's
course
pretty
is pretty
cool.
cool. But yeah, so when you go off the bridge, when you leave the bridge, you have the massive dome, and it's been there since the park opened in 1980, I think it did. But yeah, it's quite a nice hub point, I guess you would say, and it has like a massive store. It has toilets, very important, of course. It has a restaurant, very nice restaurant in there, and it also has a little arcade and not much else. But yeah, that's quite a nice general plaza kind of area, and it reaches out into Lost City, one of the areas of the park, quite well. And then also reaches downwards, downstairs is where the toilets are located and all that. But yeah, it's quite a nice entrance plaza. And what they do is the park will open at 10, but they'll let guests in the dome at 9:30, and then between 9:30 and 10 they can go out of the dome to a pathway. And a bit like Disney and other parks, they have a physical rope drop where a staff member, one side that you go through, there's an actual gate that they open. On the other side it is a physical get rope that they just like unclip when it comes to 10 o'clock. But the best thing about Thor Park, I have to say, is there are a couple of rides that don't open, say, at 10 o'clock, but pretty much the whole
Yeah.
park, as soon as it hits 10 o'clock, everything's open, which is great. Some UK parks aren't as good at this. And I see in America sometimes it's also the case. Not everything opens on the dot at 10 o'clock. With Thorpe Park, there's is it only one attraction? Yeah. Yeah, I think so. Only one attraction at the park I can think of. There might be more, but yeah, only one attraction at the park opens past 10. Opens at 12 o'clock because it has a lot of prep work to do before it opens, which is completely understandable. But so as soon as you're kind of ready to go into the park, you then can just breach out. People like to run to this is quite a focal point, which is Swarm. It's a B&M flying roller coaster. It is actually the only B&M coaster. B&M, not only B&M coaster, the only B&M flying coaster, not flying coaster, the only B&M, I don't know what
What?
I'm talking about. The only B&M wind coaster in the UK. There's a lot more in America,
And
a hell of a lot more,
which
to be
one is
fair.
it? That's the one on the right there, right?
Yeah, it's the grey one onto the right hand side of the island. So this is very focal point, and the best thing is the path. If you follow the path all the way back down to the dome, literally where that path meets where the path from the dome goes down, before you actually join this big path, is where they have the rope drop kind of area. So that literally, when it comes to 10 o'clock, most people run to the Swarm. So it's definitely a highlight. It's a beautiful coaster. The only problem with Swarm is it's like maybe under a minute from literally, the top of the lift hill until the brakes. It's probably like under a minute. It's a very short coaster, but it's so smooth and relaxing, and it's got amazing theming. It's themed to like an apocalyptic devastation in a village, and the train, the ride station itself is a church, and it's all built up like a church, and the roof's torn open, and then there's like loads of cool archways and all that. It looks pretty cool, to be fair.
See,
And the
that's
best
what I
focal
like
point,
about Thorpe in like the UK, because you go to Six Flags and it's like theming. What's that? Like they don't have any
yeah,
idea.
yeah, yeah, but with Swarm, you've got the focal point of this ride is a massive plane, a physical plane on the floor. The train actually goes under the wing of the plane. It's a real aircraft, half of an aircraft that's propped on the floor. Massive Boeing, I think it might be a massive Boeing decommissioned aircraft on the floor that's like smoking and everything, and you go under the wing of it because the first drop is an incline loop, so you like go turn around and go back on yourself, and you go directly under this plane. And then you go through a fake billboard, and then but before that, there's a fire engine that shoots off fire into the air every 3 trains.
That's
So to
cool.
save money, I guess it does every 3 trains. It shoots fire up, and then you have a nice turnaround section over the water. Then you do a Immelman kind of thingy up and then around, and then the best thing about one of the best things about this ride is the last inversion is a barrel roll, but it's over the station, so the station isn't covered, so there's no roof to the station, but above the station is the barrel roll. So you see that when you're on the queue line queuing for the ride, so that's quite a nice element. But yeah, other than that, it's very simple. It's literally lift hill, drop, couple inversions, round, over the station, and then round at the end. So it's very simple, but it's very good. One of the best coasters in the UK, to be fair. Now, where should we go to? Should we skip? No, we'll go round, and then we'll talk about stuff in the middle of the park. So,
Sounds fair.
annoying. Okay, one negative about Thorpe Park is, for instance, Swarm is on its own separate island. So if you want to go from Swarm to Stealth, for instance, you can't. There's no bridge. You have to go all the way back to the dome, all the way past the Amity area, all the way past Angry Birds Land, all the way into Amity again, which is where the Stealth ride is. So yeah, it's a bit of a trek actually from Swarm to Stealth. But the fun thing with that is it's quite fun at the end of the day. It's the kind of fun coaster where you kind of, when there's a couple minutes to the end of the day before they shut the queues, best thing to do is run to Swarm. It's quite fun sometimes.
And for
See if
anybody
you can
that's
make it or
watching
not.
that doesn't know, Stealth is the giant white coaster in the back, correct?
Yeah. I should have said that. Yeah, that's the giant white coaster there on the back. It is the focal point of the park. If you can see this from maybe 5-10 miles away of the park from the park, it's quite a focal point.
How tall
It
is it?
is the second tallest coaster in the UK. It's 205 meters. So that's, can't actually think how many feet that is. But yeah, that's 205. No, it's 205 feet. I think feet or meters. So yeah, it's quite tall, and intimidating. But I
Yeah,
like it that we have.
I think it's meters because if it was 205 meters to feet, 672 feet.
Oh, okay, fair enough. Fair enough then. Yeah, I got confused with that.
Must be
But yeah, I love
205 feet.
this. It is literally a baby Kinder car or a baby top thrill dragster, to put it that way. But the best thing about Stealth is there is nothing else. Just the launch, then the big top hat, and then airtime hill, and then you're done. So it is literally from getting on the ride and getting off is like under a minute. So it's done like that. But the adrenaline is insane. It also goes 80 miles an hour in 2.3 seconds. So that is whew, very, very nice. It's so good. My favorite thing to do is ride it front row, because you just get the straight adrenaline all the way up and down. And then you have the airtime hill when you get to the bottom. Now that is really, really good. It also has brakes on it, but you feel that after you've had the airtime. So it doesn't really stop the airtime. You go straight into it. Massive ejector airtime. So that's brilliant. And that whole area also has very good, like Thorpe Park, I would say, all the rides have really good theming, to be fair, and great atmosphere. So with Stealth, it seems the 80s, 70s, I think it is, and it just has music pumping. It has its own radio station that was recorded when it opened that runs a loop of like 5-6 hours or something like that, maybe a little bit less, called WWTP Radio. And it's absolutely awesome. Constant music going. It's also got classic in the UK, in England especially. It's got a fish and chip shop, a very nice one in front of Stealth. That's also quite nice dining area because you've got windows inside the face in front of Stealth, so you get a nice shot of the launch and everything. So that's quite nice. It also has a very little shop for merchandise for the ride, tiny little one next to it as well. And then we go round to the parks, Rumba Rapids. So this is, I'll be honest, it is not a very good rapids ride. You barely get wet. The theming isn't as good as some of the other rides. I'll be honest. It is still. I think it is still fun. To be fair, because when it comes to Halloween, it can be quite fun. But the problem is also at Halloween the park's open until 10, but they close it at like 6 or 8. So you never really get a proper nice night ride on it. But yeah, it's a nice little Rumble Rapids ride. Used to be sponsored by Ribena for a year, for a couple of years, I think it was. Recently had a repaint that was quite nice in the queue line. But yeah, other than that, it's quite lackluster. It is just a rapids ride, if you know what I mean. Like it literally you go around, you go through, you literally just go round the turnstile thing, not turnstile, but go around the station, go around the corner, go through like a little indoor section, have a bit of rapids, and then you're just done. So it is very simple. It is fun though, and I do find it quite a big highlight to the park, and it is one of the best water rides there. But still, it could do with some more theming, to be fair. And also, unfortunately, they changed the audio a couple of years ago, so it's not as bright and like vibrant. It used to be much more like audio heavy. It's not as much anymore, but it's still quite nice. And another thing about that area is the infamous. If you're in the UK, you would have heard of the pizza and pasta buffet. Now, the UK do very good pizza and pasta buffets, both at Alton Towers, Thorpe Park, Chesington, and Legoland all have these same buffets, and it's all you can eat pizza and pasta. It is very expensive. If you don't have an annual pass, then you have to pay full price, and it's like £15 a person, so it is quite expensive. But it's still amazing. It's favorite place to eat at the park, but you can't really do it every single time you go there because it's so expensive. Right, now we go back round, more round here. We go to the jungle area. So where we were just now was the Amity area. Rumble Rapids is part of the jungle. Just so in the jungle, you have the Rumble Rapids. You have Nemesis Inferno, and then you have and no, it is just Nemesis Inferno and Rumble Rapids in the jungle area. So it's not actually much, but
What
now we
is
get
that
into.
volcano looking thing? Is that
So this is Nemesis Inferno. So it's themed to a volcano. It's a B&M suspended roller coaster. It
okay?
is
So it's kind
brilliant.
of
It's a
it's
bit like Nemesis at Alton Towers.
is it kind of
But
like
I
the old coaster that we used to have in America, the volcano the blast coaster?
Oh, cool. So the reason why this coaster is also really nice is it's got so much foliage around, so much trees and like bushes. So when you actually like are going into like some of the turns and some of the twists, you are like properly within like a jungle, I guess you could say. So that is really nice. And one of the focal points of this coaster is they have this massive volcano thing structure, and the station is inside the volcano as well. And when you finish the queue line, the main section of the queue line, you gradually go up the volcano and then enter. And also, the volcano has some mist coming up. So next to the queue, so when it's a hot day, you get the lovely mist coming out of the side of the volcano. It's beautiful.
Does the
But
coaster
one of
go
the
through it?
best, yes, the
It does.
best thing
Okay.
about this coaster is as soon as you exit the station, you literally turn down. Right, yeah. Well, yeah, you turn down and go straight into the volcano for a couple of seconds, but it goes really fast into it, and it's full of smoke. And yeah, it's really refreshing as well because it's really like wet. If you could put it that way, so it's really nice. Um, yeah, but other than that, it's really good. It's also got the only interlocking corkscrew on any B&M sit down B&M Verticoaster in the world. So two of the corkscrews goes literally directly over each other, basically like that. So that's quite cool. And the best thing about that is you actually can walk under it. So one of the pathways goes under it, so you can look above you and see it above your head. So that's pretty cool. Unfortunately, the dispatches aren't good enough to have both of the trains
Oh, that would
on
be
the
cool.
corkscrews at the same time because it only runs two trains. So you only have one train on the actually running around at the same time. But they're quite good with the dispatches. So pretty much by the time the coaster's back on the brake run, the train's ready to dispatch, and then vice versa. It just goes around in circles, if you know what I mean, that way. But yeah, it's nice coaster that.
Yeah, in
Now,
America we used to have one that was somewhat like that. So you do a couple things in the volcano, but then you would get launched straight out of it. And once you were going straight out of it, there'd be fire that would shoot up. Um,
Fair enough.
I don't remember what park it was at. To be fair, I think yeah, I don't want to say it was Kenny, but I think they tore it down, which everybody was kind of disappointed with. But
Yeah, that sounds a shame. I wish that would. I wish it must be a bit annoying losing the B&M like that
that's
because
what it was called.
they are very
It
nice.
was legit called Volcano the Blast Coaster is what the name of it was.
So they're quite similar, I imagine. Just want to mention in the chat that Lasting Coast has mentioned that the plane in the swarm looks like a Boeing 737-200, which I can kind of get you mean. Yeah, definitely does look like one of them. To be fair, right. So now we're done with Nemesis Inferno. It
And
is a very
shout
good
out to
coaster, but
Alfredo Bonso, the that said their park is their local park. That's awesome.
oh, is it also your local park? Great, no, great to know. Great to know we have some Thorpe Park locals in the chat. That's great. Brilliant. Just love that. It's brilliant. Right, so we're in the jungle now. I think it has probably the kind of one of the smallest areas on park in a sense, ride coverage, because I don't think anything else goes under as. Oh no, yeah. So we have one more ride in the jungle area. I say. It, Basically, the problem with the jungle is you have your jungle area around kind of Nemesis Inferno, and then there's a bit of a gap between Nemesis Inferno and then Rumble Rapids. But the problem is with Thorpe, they don't really cut off the areas greatly. So you can literally walk from area to area, and it's not that that kind of, I guess, differentiated as well sometimes. But still, it's quite a good area. But so one other thing to mention about this area, pardon me, is one more part of it, which is Mr. Monkey's Banana Boat, which is one of the old Thorpe Park Rangers characters. They don't have them on the park anymore. But yeah, it's just a little monkey boat that goes. It's tiny. It just goes like that. It's pretty cool. I've been on it a couple times, but it's very much for the kids, that one. Still, it's quite a long queue sometimes, but that is what happens with kids' rides, really, isn't it? They always are busy. So even if you want to get them in for some reason, you can't because they're so busy. So here, I will mention, because we're using the 2019 map, located just in front of Nemesis Inferno is Jungle Escape, which was their 2019 edition. It was the replacement of the I'm a Celebrity, Get Me Out of Here attraction, which ran from 2015 to 2018, and then 2019 was replaced with Jungle Escape. And that used to be quite good as well. That was also kind of escape room-ish, but it was based off the I'm a Celebrity franchise that you see on the TV every year in October in the UK. It's brilliant. That I love that. But yeah, it's been replaced with Jungle Escape, which is a paid extra escape room experience. I think it's £10 per person, £5 for annual pass. So quite cheap, to be fair. And it's two groups versus each other. It's quite fun. It also ends with a slide, so that's pretty fun. You get so when you finish the whole escape room, you escape down a slide. So that's definitely the highlight, I guess. That is quite funny. But yeah, it's really good, That I went to the press event for it last year, so that's quite cool.
I'm trying to figure out what that building is in the center there. It's
Oh,
like
well, I'll
seeing.
tell you that. Okay, we'll skip then. We'll go to this. So, you mean the one on the train?
I think so. It's right next to the blue coaster there.
The blue coaster. Oh, okay. So that is the Walking Dead the ride, which was new for 2018. It was the replacement for X. Well, originally X colon backslash No Way Out when it opened originally. I can't remember what year it opened. I can't remember what year it opened, but yeah, when it originally opened, it was. I'll tell you right now. It's on them. So X No Way Out colon backslash. Does it tell me? Does it tell me? Of course it doesn't. Right, 2 seconds. Let me find it. So yeah, X colon backslash No Way Out opened in 1996 and around 2012. And then it turned into X, which is 2013 to 2017. And then in 2018, they opened The Walking Dead, the ride based off The Walking Dead. Now, this, of course, is very popular because The Walking Dead is popular because it's on Netflix. So that's, I guess, why. So it was definitely good popularity. But all it is a family indoor roller coaster. It's not very tall. I think it's about 30 meters or something like that, 30 meters high. It's not very high, but it's all in this one pyramid. So it's this like pyramid style building. So that's quite cool.
And they
But the
named it
good
The
thing about
Walking Dead, huh?
The Walking Dead, the ride, yeah, they rethemed it. So X was themed to a nightclub. So there was those disco lights and rave music. So that was actually quite fun, to be fair. But it was never ever busy. And of course, as soon as it turns to The Walking Dead, the ride, it constantly adds an hour or two wait. So definitely got busier. But the best thing about The Walking Dead, the ride, is it's much more experience now. So as soon as you enter the building, so the entrance of the ride is next to a full-on like 20 meter or 20 feet watchtower, which is quite cool. They planned on having fake gunmen on top of it, but I don't think they were allowed because of health and safety reasons. But yeah, that's pretty cool focal point. So the front of it is like a massive kind of watchtower, and you actually enter through the front of it. You go straight through it, so it isn't actually anything inside that watchtower. But it's a very cool thematic element to the front of the thing, I guess, if you know what I mean. But as soon as you enter, you have a pre-show with one of the staff members acting like an actor, I guess. They do try and scare you, I guess. And then you have a very good pre-show with some of the actual, I think they recorded it using some of the characters from The Walking Dead. So that's quite cool. So that's on like the TV screen. And then they're like, get out, get out, get out. And the door opens and you have to run around the corner through these different corridors to get to the station. Sometimes there is a bit of a build up, so you do queue, but the idea is that you literally run, I guess, from the door to the thing. But it's quite cool. You pass like some corridors, and there's like a prison gate thing, and then you go into like the loading bay. So the whole kind of idea of the ride is that you're loading materials from A to B. So you're like a loading truck. That's the whole idea. Is the train is like a truck, I guess. But it's pretty cool. And the best thing is the experience doesn't end when you go on the ride. You go up the lift hill, and as you go up the lift hill, the bulbs pretend to burst. So every couple meters of going up the lift hill, you hear a massive bang and clash of bulbs breaking. So that's pretty cool. And it's every couple meters you go up the lift hill. And then when you go down quite a steep drop. And the best thing about this is they have a couple of quite scary looking zombie figures. They're like models, obviously. They're not like actors, but they have flashing lights onto them. So when you pass them, it's like they're straight in your face, which is pretty cool. But the best thing about this ride is they have an actual, I guess we could call it scene part of it. So you, on what is normally a mid-course brake run, you completely come to a halt, and there's video screens, and it's like we've come into a problem, and then it says go 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 whatever, and instead of it actually like going, I don't know what happened there. Instead of it actually going, your car, so it's pretending to be a truck, but it literally goes up. It literally jitters, so the whole train moves up and down, up and down. For I think it's 4 times. But the idea is that it's like a truck trying to start, so it goes like up and then up and then up and then up and then like going up this thing, and then you kind of go back down past the photos. And this is quite clever. So the onboard photos has loads of model zombies. So that basically the idea is it works. Is because you don't expect for these zombies to come out of nowhere. The ride photos, you are genuinely terrified on the ride photos because literally you have all these zombies in your face. So that when the ride photo hits, you're all like, ah. So
That's kind of
that's
funny.
pretty good. And then best thing about this, so this is a spoiler if you haven't done the Walking Dead the ride already. You don't just exit the ride. So the Walking Dead the ride has two stations, has an offload and an onload. So you get off the train at a different place, and as soon as you open those doors, it's a full-on like scare maze kind of attraction style with like live actors touching you, breathing on you, like um, whispering in your ears and like proper having fun with you. So that's quite cool. It's like a canteen kind of area, and then that just finishes with a couple of corridors, and then you're done. But like I said, that is a full-on thematic experience. It isn't just a roller coaster. It is a scare maze and a roller coaster all put into one. So I guess you can say that sounds pretty cool, doesn't it?
Oh, I would love
Especially
that.
if you like the walk. Do you like the Walking Dead or?
I just love horror stuff.
So yes, in general, that's pretty cool. So yeah, Thorpe Park is known for their horror rides. I will get onto that. Sorry if I am rambling on a bit. We've been going live. How long are we on for live now? So we're on for. It's been about 35 minutes. That's pretty cool. Fair enough. That's pretty cool.
So yeah, horror's my thing.
Oh, that's pretty cool. That's
Yeah.
pretty cool. So might as well quickly have a bit of a detour. So does your park offer a Halloween attraction that you've chosen? Because ours does. We have Fright Nights every year.
Pretty much they have same kind of deal. They have Fright Fest pretty much at every Six Flags park. Um
Oh, okay, and are the mazes good? Are the mazes good then, or?
so the funny part, so when we get to Six Flags Park, I'll talk a little bit more about that too, because we actually were just at uh the Fright Fest for first time ever. We went to the Great Adventures Fright Fest in October. But I'm
So as we're now
curious.
talking about what we're talking about now is Halloween. I might as well talk about Halloween. So, Thorpe Park every year host Fright Nights. Hopefully, you can see that well.
Let me
Um,
move this out of the way. There
hence
we go.
this massive drinks bottle from Fright Nights. The best time of year. It is a shame we have to wait until September, like the 28th, to get started. But yeah, we have such a big hype every year. Thorpe Park aren't the best at hiding, building the attractions. So this year with their new maze, Creek Freak Massacre, we could see all of it being constructed when it was being built. So we got to see the whole process, and it was all speculated, and it was brilliant. The funny thing is everybody thought it was a different name until they released it, because all the branding was underneath stuff, and then it turned out to be something different. But yeah, that was amazing. So I'll go through this. So last year we had one, two, three, four, five scare mazes, one scary cinema where they showed like clips and stuff of horror movies, and then one scare zone slash kind of show. So every like 2 hours they would have a show, flash mob kind of show style. And it was themed to like a high school, and it was themed to like an American high school called Terra Amity High. High school sucks. It was really good. And after they did the show, they would then go scare people in that area. But with Thorpe Park, this isn't really a thing in America, I don't think. All the actors were allowed to touch you in the scare mazes.
Yeah, no,
So they
absolutely not.
so
Unfortunately.
they will lick you, they might kiss you if they really want to, they'll grab you, they'll shove you, they'll pin you against the wall. Quite more so in their brand new scare range, which is Creek Free Massacre. I'll talk about that in a second. But they also have containment, which is a paid for. It also mentioned, so all of these things, except from containment, are included with your day ticket for that day. The park's normally open from 10 a.m. to 10 p.m. So full 12 hours of scares. So that's pretty good. But the best thing about that is that you get the mazes all open at 3 o'clock. So you have 7 hours of scare mazes, which is
That's pretty
just
cool.
epic. But yes, it's free with your day ticket or annual pass. If you have one of the standard annual passes, you have to pay £10 per Fright Nights, just because I think it's because they're trying to limit the capacity, I guess, so it's not too busy. And if you have a premium pass, you can do a voluntary £1 reservation. You don't have to. You only really do it on the days like Halloween night and the days leading up to Halloween, the 31st. It's the best time to kind of reserve. But other than that, you can just enter whenever. And I did it about 20 times, I think, over the period last year. I did about 20 times. But yeah, so everything there's free except from containment. Now we talk about Creek Freak Massacre. in the building of the old log flume, Loggers Leap, which has been closed since 2015. No information at all. It was SPNO. It's been SPNO since this is standing but not operating. It hasn't been removed. The only thing that's been removed this year was the inside of the station for the skirmaze. So I think it was about July time. I think it was like last year, and we started seeing a bit of clearing around the area. And then when it came to August, we could see they were doing stuff. They had like good promotional stuff around advertising with a storyline of a family that have had a like wood workshop, and the whole idea of Creek Freak Massacre is you're being treated like wood on
Wow.
a conveyor belt, going through the different stages of chopping up wood. So it's so well themed. It's absolutely amazing. The theming is incredible, and as soon as you enter, you are immersed. So you have your first pre-show room, and they'll choose about 4 people to go into the crawling section. So they force you to go on the floor, and you have to go in this crawling section where you have to go like up a little hill and down, like in a box thing, like a box kind of like corridor, like that you have to crawl. So they choose like 4 people to go through there, and then then the onslaught starts. And as soon as you start, you get picked on. And Creek Freak Massacre was very physical, so the actors can touch you, but you cannot touch them. So
Hmm.
they would grab you, pin you against the walls. They have chainsaws, so real chainsaws without the guards on them. So they'll literally hit you with the chainsaws on the sides. Of course, they won't hit you with it, but they'll touch you, brush you on the side with chainsaws. They pin you up to the walls. They'll make you like walk. Sometimes they make you bark like a dog. They'll like literally grab you by the neck. It's insane. So that maze kind of gradually gets scarier, and then you get to the focal point in the middle where you have the chainsaws. You have the corridor, and they'll run after you with chainsaws. And then you have the best bit, which is the ending, which is a strobe maze with 2 chainsaws. There's some loads of dead ends, and they will literally shove the chainsaw up you, like in your back, in your sides. And because it's hot, slightly hot and like vibrates, it hurts when they hit you with it. And the very end bit, they have a very tight corridor. And the thing is, if the chainsaw guy stands at the end, so you have to go towards the guy with the chainsaw, and then he runs you out of the maze. So as you can tell, that sounds quite extreme, doesn't it? I imagine maybe compared to what you're used to.
So yeah, no doubt. I definitely would go during Friday nights 100% because that's what I like. Being, I worked in a couple haunted houses I do every year over here in the States, and I mean, I only wish that I can do some of that stuff to the people there, but no.
Yeah, so the only reason why they can touch you, I guess, is the fact that like you by going in there, you agree to any responsibility in any form. So like yeah, but basically they have no tolerance though. So an actor gets hit, the ride gets shut down, the person gets kicked out the park, they call the police. Like
Oh
so,
yeah,
it's
that's
very
that's
well
pretty much the
done.
same. Well, real quick
Yeah, a
before
lot.
we
Yeah,
switch over to parks, what are these last 2 coasters? It looks like right after
right.
the
So yeah,
wooden
I did
coaster
blabber on.
and the blue.
Did did blabber on for a bit. So we have in the blue. It's not really blue. It's a well, it is. No, it is kind of blue greenish Colossus, which was the world's first 10 looping roller coaster. It's 10 inversions. So it has a loop, 2 barrel. So I can tell you this off by how it is. No, it has a loop. No, yeah, it has a loop, a barrel roll, a cobra roll. No, yeah, sorry, has a loop, a barrel roll, a corkscrew, and then I think it's 4 or 5 interlocking corkscrews that go constantly. So you have 5 interlocking corkscrews in a row.
Wow.
So that is rather fun. The problem with Colossus is it's the roughest ride in the country, in my opinion. So you get bashed apart, like side to side, and also it's not very forgiving for the people that are larger size, so it isn't the best for some people. It doesn't. Some people don't fit on it because it is quite tight. But yeah, it's really uncomfortable. I only really do it a couple times a year because of how rough it is, and people that have ridden it will tell you how rough it is. But yeah, that's Colossus really for you. Rough, has a lot of inversions, and not really much good to say about it. And then next to it, we have a much better roller coaster, which is Saw the Ride,
Okay,
themed
yeah,
to the
I've
Saw
heard of this
franchise.
one. I've heard of, and I've
So
seen
this
POVs.
maze is still the world's only horror themed coaster properly. You literally enter a full on warehouse, and that's meant to be Jigsaw's like Billy the Puppet, also Jigsaw's kind of like lair. And as soon as you get on the ride, you have a pre-show with a Billy the Puppet that comes down on a bike, and they do it really well. So to make it run faster, only so two trains leave at the same time. There are trains of four people each, and there's a kind of a bit of a gap between. But the first train will just go past, but the second train will stop and watch the pre-show, and it's like a 30-second pre-show, so that you're actually on the car, and a real Billy the Puppet comes on his bike and like cycles to you on his bike. If you want to see this, guys, and you haven't seen it, look up on YouTube. Saw the ride POV. You'll see what I mean. It's awesome. But yeah, as soon as you go around the corner, straight into quite a steep drop, really steep down into like swinging blade things, fake swinging blades. And then you have, before you leave the building, you have a barrel roll. Um, that's over a fake toilet. So it's like meant to be a fake toilet room, and you get sprayed with. There's a man on the floor, um, half naked, also, but he's also got like a water spouting up his back, like into you, so you get a bit wet. But then you go on the best bit, one of the best bits of the ride, which is the lift hill, because it's 100 feet vertically up. So you're lying on your back pretty much vertically, and then it goes down 90 degrees into actual blades, fake blades that rotate. So you go literally dive underneath rotating blades.
Yeah.
So that's pretty much it for Saw Alive. It then just goes back around, pardon me, through the woods. Has the most interesting mid-course brake run I've ever seen, because it doesn't really do anything. It's there, and it has a brake, and it breaks the car, but it doesn't stop the speed in any shape or form. So you literally go straight past it, literally like boom, straight past it, and then drop back down into like a like loop thing, in I think it is. But yeah, that is pretty much so. That's that. That's pretty much all the rides there, other than the little kids coaster, Flying Fish.
And you haven't
It's
seen
like
the
just a
saw
lap of
ride.
eight.
It's on the screen at the moment.
Yeah, it's
The
this
lift.
one here. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's pretty good. Saw. Yeah, there it is. There's saw the ride, and as you can see, there also is where the rotating blades are.
Yeah, right
Just
on the bottom.
beyond that drop. But yeah, if you see on the other side of the train, you can see that literally it is fully straight upwards vertically. So it's
Yeah.
pretty cool when you're on that. I like that very much.
Now, is it number 7 there? I have to kind of squint to see it. Right next to the dome. It looks like is that a Ferris wheel or is that a Super Loop?
Seven. No, no, that's not a super loop. That is Vortex, which is what are they called? Can't remember what it's called, but you have like four seats. So you're four, four, and it's like it's not none of the four seats are connected. So you have um four seats connected, four seats connected, four seats connected. Yeah, it's kind of like that, and it swings. So it doesn't
Uh-huh.
go all
Okay.
three. It doesn't go 360 around the whole thing, but it goes almost up. So when you actually go to that side, you fully like go on your back. It's quite good. It's quite
Gotcha.
fun. Yes, Thorpe Park has a lot of flat rides.
It looked like it,
In
yeah.
that area, you also have Zodiac, which is just a enterprise. They're not
Yeah.
very good. It's like a Ferris wheel, but you don't have You don't even have a seat belt, but it goes upside down, so it goes onto its up like that, and then it goes upside down. But you have no seat belt because of the gravity and how much you're like stuck to the seat. You don't fall out. Next to that is Rush. It's an S&S swing. So swing each side with like piston things. It's quite good that, and it only has a lap bar, so you go fully vertical with the lap bar, and you're like all the way out of your seat. That's brilliant.
And there's a kiddie
Um,
roller coaster back there, isn't there?
yeah, yeah, the flying fish. It is very small. It only does like an oval kind of shape, like a kind of an 8. So it's very small, but you get 2 or 3 laps. Before we finish with Thorpe Park, I mentioned 2 more rides, which is we'll start with this. So you might have heard this, Darren Brown's Ghost Train. I'll show you this. There we are. Darren Brown's Ghost Train, which is the best dark ride in the UK. It opened in 2016. It's had 2 different kind of it's had one sort of retheme. In 2017, it changed from Dan Brown's Ghost Train to Dan Brown's Ghost Train Rise of the Demons, and it's kind of designed by Darren Brown, who's like an illusionist and who can like read people's minds and all that. But this is an awesome attraction. It's VR related, but it's VR but with physical sets and physical ride pieces. So you have like an amazing pre-show. Cut long story short, it's like the ghost train kind of style attraction that you might see at a fairground, but the bad ones, normally they're not very good, but reimagined with virtual reality. But instead of just sitting on a seat and nothing happening, instead of just watching virtual reality, you actually go on board a London tube train, and it actually moves and goes sideways and drops, goes up, down, tilts forward and backwards. You actually get off halfway through and then go on to another train. It's insane. There's 3 train carriages. They all hold up to 50 people at a time. And yeah, you literally halfway through the ride, you got told to evacuate. You run off the train, and then you go into like this train tunnel, and a fake train comes towards you. And then there's live actors in that scene. That's pretty fun. And then another cool thing about this ride is that, ride attraction is at the very end. You think you're finished, and you go into the merchandise store, yeah. And instead of it being a merchandise store, the floor drops. The floor starts to drop, and like the air vents fold up and down, and then out of nowhere, a massive person in a massive bodysuit, animatronic alien thing, demons, comes out of nowhere because the wall spins, so he comes out of nowhere and scares you. So that's pretty fun. But yeah, it looks like a merchandise store, and it looks real, and there's like all merchandise on rails and everything, and then it all goes like black and the room moves. That also, I imagine, sounds pretty cool, doesn't it?
It seems like they have a lot of actors that work at that park too, which is pretty cool. You don't see that
Yeah,
over
yeah,
here that
definitely.
often. But
Yeah,
yeah, there you go, guys. That's Thorpe Park in a
that's Thorpe
nutshell.
Park.
Uh,
Please visit. We need people to come visit us, especially like I would love to see people that like have been maybe if your home park is like Cedar Point or something. It'd be great to see some people's reaction to Thorpe Park because it's like a small kind of version that you could, I guess you could kind of put it that way. But yeah, it's beautiful. My favorite coaster at Thorpe Park is Stealth, just because of the like adrenaline you get from it. But yeah,
the launch
that's me done
and
for Thorpe pretty much.
the
Um,
launches. I'm always a sucker for launch coasters. We don't have one really close by. There is one at my park that I chose today, which, of course, I had to go with Great Adventure. So, looking at a Six Flags map here, you can definitely tell that there's a distinct difference. uh,
yeah, let's see. I've never seen this before, so I'm interested as well.
the difference
So
really,
if I'm looking this way, guys, I'm just looking at the stream thing.
yeah. I think this might be an older map as well. Yeah, it is because of the Bizarro back there. Not too old.
Also,
There's
if you do go to Thorpe Park, guys, go at Halloween. Just
yes,
saying.
yes. So this park, it's in Jackson, New Jersey. It's about 3 to 4 hours away from where I am. You enter it in this massive parking lot. First of all, you can see two of the rides from there. Well, actually, you see about three of them. You can see the King Nika, the Green Lantern, and the Superman ride. The Superman's kind of cut off by the Frontier Adventures paper box there, which is a shame. But when you walk in, this park is very difficult to try to figure out when you're brand new to it. And yeah, this park map is a little old. It doesn't even have the Joker. The Joker is the 4D free spin um coaster that Six Flags likes to add all over the place. Uh,
I don't think they look very nice. I'll be honest. They're like just something that can just put in a space. It's like the kind of coaster that you think, you know what, we need a coaster. We need something that fit in a little space that's
but
thin.
however, it is a pretty cool ride to go on. Like you're flipping a lot. But so you walk down to where it says Main Street. There's a big like water fountain there. If you keep going straight all the way down, you'll hit where the Joker is originally. But so I don't know this layout perfectly by heart because it's definitely I go to it a handful of times. So we're gonna kind of go from right to left, kind of with the coasters here. So obviously you got the building with the bat in front of it. That is the Batman The Dark Knight ride. Um, you know,
It's that B&M, isn't it? Or yeah.
it's just a wild mouse. To be fair,
Oh,
they
fair enough.
they don't even have the whole. Oh wow, this map's really old. So they have Battle for Metropolis, which is an indoor ride. And then they have Cyborg Free Spin, which is like a gyrosphere. I think like if you go watch what the astronauts would train on before they get sent up into space, and like it spins you every which direction. It's basically that. Um, they also now have a giant uh, pendulum ride that got added, I think this year. Um, Going all the way over to the right, though, you see Batman. They have Batman the Dark Knight ride, and then they also have Batman the Ride, which is your typical suspended Batman clone. Uh, I think I've been on it
Isn't
once.
yeah, that isn't that like pretty much loads of the Six Flags mods, just a copy of it, isn't it?
A lot of Six Flags, yeah, it's a lot. That's their
It's
thing.
not the best idea, is it? Because it just kills any sort of an originality, doesn't it? Like
However,
if you've
though,
been to one, if you've been to one Six Flags, you've been to them all. Almost that's what some
Nitro
people say.
Nitro is an awesome coaster. It's definitely one of my top three there. Um, I believe it's B&M. It's extremely smooth and it's pretty high. It's definitely over. I think just over 200 feet. Uh, it's you get tons of airtime, floater airtime on this thing. It's definitely
Yeah,
one of their star attractions in this park. So you
I've just
move.
spotted you guys. You guys got your Kinder car, which is the bit bigger than my home stealth at Thorpe Park. I have to say
Yeah.
that it's a bit of
Oh, we're gonna
a
get to King of the Cloud. Trust me on that.
yeah.
So then we move over to the Rapid Ride, which again, that park's Rapid Rise is not that great either. You don't really get that wet. Um,
Yeah.
and then you move over to a little kiddie area, kinda. But from what I thinking, this area is gonna be where the new Jersey Devil coaster is gonna be. I believe it's gonna be in this area. Which, for any of you that don't know, the Jersey Devil is new to this year. It is an RMC Raptor track that looks like this. Single rail. This thing's gonna be a beast, and I cannot wait for it to come up.
Yeah.
The only
I'd love
one.
England. I love England to get a single rail because they're just so quite compact as well, aren't they? If you get what I
Oh,
mean.
absolutely. And this thing's. It looks like it zips through the layout, and the closest one to us. Um, was I think the Lasso of Truth coaster. It's across the country, so we don't really have any close to us.
Yeah, there's Wonder Woman. There's another one of those Star ones that looks quite good as well.
Yeah,
But yeah,
but this one here is it's gonna be incredible. The line for it is gonna be absolutely long. I remember hearing horror stories about King Ka when that opened up. Uh,
it's crazy though. It's such no. It's actually a lot of coaster track. It's a lot of. It's like quite a big coaster, but it's fitting to just that like line. If you get what I mean, it's just like one, kind of thing. But it's so well done. Like it's all just there. It's very compact and good. I like that.
so from what I heard
I like
about
that
like
thing.
when they opened King Ka, that there's like 3 different stations, and like you would get a wristband and a stamp at each station. That way they know you didn't cut the line. And there's like hours and hours and hours waiting time. But we're gonna get, like I said, we're gonna get to Kingdom Come. I have my own thoughts on that.
Oh, do you have to purchase your park's fast track option when you go? Because definitely think about it when it's the summer holidays at Thorpe Park. It does get very busy.
You have an option to do that. I mean, some days you don't need it. Um,
Yeah. Same with Thorpe Park. Within some weekdays and some Sundays, you just wouldn't need it. But it can be so expensive. At Fright Nights, they offer a fast track for all of the mazes and all of the rides, but it's like £150, and that's not like including your park ticket. So if you're paying £50 also for the park ticket, that's £200 without your food for the day. Phew,
yeah,
it's an
no,
expensive park visit.
we
But
have
yeah,
so we have the pass, like the Diamond Elite pass. We have the dining pass, and when we went for Fright Fest, we did have to pay for the Halloween stuff. But then we also, I mean, I don't think we. So with our Diamond Elite Pass, we get 2 front of line skip the line. So, I just use it on 2 of the rides, and since my fiance was pregnant at the time, she couldn't go on the ride, so I technically had 4 of them to myself. So I went to 4 of the rides, used them up, and we called it a day because we wanted to go to the Halloween stuff because it's not 7 hours where we are. Of like you maybe get like 4 hours of being able to go through the mazes and stuff, which kind of sucks.
oh, is
But
it really? Yeah. We have from 3 p.m. to 10 p.m. And also with Fright Nights in the UK parks, if the park closes at 10, but you're in the queue line before 10 p.m., you can queue. So with Thorpe Park, the maze queue line could be 2.5 hours at 10 o'clock. They don't kick everybody out. They empty the queue line. They let everybody still gets to go in the maze as
oh
long as you're
yeah,
in the queue
same
line before
same
10
thing.
o'clock.
If you're in the line, you're going
Yeah.
in. This is the Jersey Devils front train. William, you
I,
get
I've
good luck at it right there.
previous years I've left the park gone midnight because of how busy it is.
Wow.
And problem with that is you can't leave if you don't have a car. If you're going by public transport, you definitely need to consider how late you're going to be leaving Top Park because you can't get out that easily. They haven't got much transport links,
Well, and the
very good
crazy
ones.
part is that so when you are on um like Six Flags New England, for example, our Halloween thing starts around 6 o'clock, and the park opens until 9 sometimes. So you get 6 o'clock until 9 of going through.
That's not very long. That's not very long
So
to do.
that's when I
Yeah,
would get like the VIP passes, and there's not that many houses to be fair. But so yeah, and the cool part about this coaster here that's coming,
that's it's a cool front of the car,
yeah.
isn't it?
So the thing about this coaster, the Jersey Devil, is you're not sitting two to a person, like two to a seat. You're
Yeah,
sitting
single, isn't it?
individual.
Single.
Yeah,
But problem with that is the batching and how long that's going to be, how long the queue for that's going to be.
it's gonna be crazy.
Am I correct in thinking, do they only run one train on these single rail coasters?
I think I've seen places run 2 or 3 because
Okay.
they have blocks, block
But
sections.
still, like 5 to 6 people a train.
It's still gonna
That's
be crazy.
yeah, very long queue.
So they have an indoor kiddie coaster called Skull Mountain. It's kind of a kiddie coaster. It's kind of like it's your typical indoor kind of like mine train kind of ride. Um,
Oh yeah. Thorpe
But
Park doesn't have
from
a mine train coaster,
from there, I would take the sky realm over to the other half of the park. So we are moving to the left side of the park now. Going from the bottom where it's cut off, they have the Superman Ultimate Flight. This I don't have a picture of just yet. I'm gonna look it up real quick though, because this
I guess it must be a big park if you have that transport links.
yeah.
Thorpe Park is tiny. You can walk from one side of Thorpe Park to the other in 10 minutes or less. It's tiny.
So well, I mean, Six Flags New England used to have a Skyway, and they took it out. I wish they still had it, but it was a tiny a Skyway, but still, just the point of skipping a little bit of the line, you know. But let's see, Superman Ultimate.
See, I will mention one thing while you're doing that is, if I have to say anything about the UK parks, is this looks very similar to something like Alton Towers, to be fair, because I love how you have that very nice promenade at the entrance. You have a very nice, like, open Main Street, USA style, I guess, almost a bit like the Disney in some senses. But yeah, that like main entrance plaza thing, same for Alton Towers, and you also have the cable car. With Alton Towers, it's quite cool because you have a cable car. You need to go on the cable car if you don't want to walk 40 to minutes to an hour between some bits, because it goes over a massive valley underneath a massive gardens. And if you walk, it takes like 40 minutes. So yeah, that's the case when you really do not want to miss the monorail for that. Not monorail, the cable car.
Yeah, no, same
But
same
yeah,
with getting into this park. Like I have it queuing up right here. Hopefully it's OBS and we're live I was gonna say Facebook, live on YouTube, ladies and gentlemen. uh, could be live on Facebook. You never know. Maybe down the road. If I can,
yeah, I don't have much of a following on Facebook. I don't know about you.
I have a good following on Facebook. Uh, Here it is. So Ultimate Flight is a crazy flying coaster. Um, you have a heartline, or it looks like an SLC's heart roll, but it's flying coaster. So you're doing like a front flip. It looks absolutely nuts, and you definitely gray out on it. Uh, I did this multiple times in a row. Kind of crazy to do, but that's just me.
Yeah. Well, the thing with the UK, luckily for me, for instance, it's not. I guess, and I imagine in Florida, it's a bit more like this. With me, from my house, I have three parks, all half an hour away from each other. So half an hour in one direction, half an hour in one direction, half an hour in the other.
Yeah, I wish
And
I could do
two
that.
years 2 years ago, I did a challenge. I did Thorpe Park, Chesington, and Legoland in the same day.
Yeah, I think the
That's quite fun.
craziest thing we've done was we did Six Flags America and this park in the same day because there's literally nothing, no lines in any of the parks. So after you go to Superman, right next to it is the Green Lantern. It's a stand-up coaster, not very
Oh well,
comfortable.
not
Um,
many of them left either. We've only got one stand-up coaster in the UK. They
yeah,
don't sound very nice,
the theming
especially
is
for
pretty
gentlemen.
decent though. Like you're flying around planes as well and stuff like that. But it's a
Oh, okay,
stand-up
cool.
coaster. Going from
Yeah,
there,
most stand-up coasters just turn into sit-down coasters, and just
yeah,
solves the problem, doesn't it?
I can see that happening in this. But going towards the back of the park, we have there is a safari, which is a pretty big safari. They used to let people
Oh,
drive
cool! I didn't
around
know
it, especially from International Drive. Yeah, uh, they used to have it where you could drive around it. Then they took that away, so now there's they drove you around it. But it looks like starting this year, it looks like you're gonna be able to drive your car through it again, which is
Oh,
cool.
we have very similar like this in the UK in the Chesington World of Adventures.
Yeah.
And actually, I work at this said that Chesington World of Adventures, not on the rides, but yeah, I do work at Chesington, which is quite cool. But we have Safari, which is quite cool. But yeah, you're in like a truck, pretty much identical to that, and you can't drive around it. But Chesington's also a zoo. But also, yeah, you have a safari and you go around the animals. I imagine it's a bit similar to this. It's such a nice kind of experience. And also with Chesington, the animals are so close
Yeah.
that on a quiet day, because of course they're scared, if there's so many people in the different like cars, they're not going to come. But on a quiet day when there's like maybe 10 people or less in your truck, you'll have some of the giraffes stick their heads in the truck sometimes.
Yeah, I think that,
It's quite cool.
they do that a little bit there as well.
But
Sometimes.
what they do is you can pay extra to have
Yeah,
like them take you around in a jeep around that area,
that's
which
cool.
is quite nice. And also, their hotel looks onto that whole safari kind of style area, which is quite cool. Yeah,
That's cool.
savannah kind of like area. That's quite
Yeah.
nice.
So moving on from there, they have right next to it, they have an actual like stadium kind of thing, where they hold like
Really?
they have like concerts in there every now and then. It's crazy. The last place you would think of is that. And then they have kind of like a I don't know the manufacturer of it. It used to be called the Medusa, and then it got switched over to Bizarro. To be fair, it's still called Bizarro now. I forgot. I had to look it up. Um, has a really nice Cobra roll. Has very little theming. You go around these. You do a corkscrew around these two, kind of like what the Saw Ride has, but they're like giant versions of it. And for some reason, it's there. Doesn't really make sense, but they have them. Um, and then next to that, you got a little mine train ride, decent ride, next to a Skyway. Next to that, you have a Super Loop, which is debatable if it's an actual coaster or not. I don't consider Super Loops a coaster. Um,
I don't like them. Just so like,
no, no,
it's just
yeah,
like
they're
you
boring.
would not want to queue more than like 20 an hour for that. Like,
They.
not even an hour to queue for one of them. I've never done one, but they just don't look.
So
Mm.
then we move over to King the Ka, and I've voiced my opinion on King the Ka so many times. I am not a fan of the King the Ka. It's not because of the height or the speed or anything like that. It's because the launch for taller people and bigger people really sucks. Gonna be blatant with you on that. Is that the over the shoulder harnesses they have for these these trains are awful. They dig into your shoulders and like
Oh yeah.
it's
So
unbelievably rough.
with stealth, this was the most annoying thing is with the bigger build people, you can still fit on it, but sometimes it is the question with would you rather enjoy the ride, but enjoy the ride? Are you really going to enjoy it if you're that tight or uncomfortable in a restraint? You know what I mean? Like some just thinking, oh sorry about is it worth it, you know what I mean? Like if you're tight you might as well not do it for something, especially with stealth. But they trialed for a couple of weeks an extendable seatbelt on the front row, and it was only for one seat on the whole train, and one of the two trains, one seat on it, and you could extend it so that basically, even if you're quite big, the restraint wasn't as much on your shoulders.
Well, I
But
have it here.
for some reason, they took it away after 2 weeks of having that extendable seatbelt. It was the best time I ever had on that having that ride because you could put it all the way out, so you had like quite a big distance between it touching your shoulder, the restraint on your shoulder, and like there. So that was very nice.
This is the restraint for King the Ka, and to me, I don't know what they're thinking.
Let's
It's
see.
so
I'm
uncomfortable.
assuming it's similar to Stealth because it is a similar coaster. But yeah,
Well, still, Top Thrill Dragster trains, all they have is a lap bar. That's all you need. And these
yeah.
guys,
Yeah, I don't
it's
see the point of the idea of an over shoulder restraint is for an upside down roller coaster. I guess it does do the thing, but still, like they don't need over shoulder restraints.
they
I
have
mean,
like it reminds me of the Maverick. These are the type of restraints the Maverick has, but still, it hurts a lot. And
yeah,
so with that,
yeah, same thing, same thing with Stealth. They'll park exactly the same
yeah,
style,
and
really.
this is the reason why King the Ka is not even on my top 50 roller coasters. and it's because it's so painful. If it wasn't for that, so say they take away the over the shoulder, if they put lap bars in like Top Thrill Dragster, then I would have it competing for my top 2 or top 3 coasters in these two parks.
Show you something. Maybe if I message on Twitter a photo of Stealth, you can show that off, maybe, just to show how similar they are.
Yeah,
Because they are very similar, there we are.
because then like here's Top Thrill Dragster's train.
Where is that?
Because it's amazing, like it's definitely doable. I mean, Top Thrill Dragster is definitely.
Apparently, I'm going to send you that because it's not working.
Top Thrill Dragster's an example of how it will work. Yeah, here is Top Thrill Dragster, and this is all you need. It is a little taller and a little bit faster than Top Thrill Dragster, but not by much. Not by much at all. And even the brake, like when you go over the little hill on the brakes at the end, you're like you just want it to be over. Like I used when we went there for Fight Fest, I used 2 of my front of the line passes on King Ka. I used one, tore up the other one because I was not going to do it again. It's that bad. But this is Cedar Point. This is same kind of ride. That's all you need. That's literally all you need. Just that little yellow lap bar is all you need for it. When that shows up on the video, I got the live up as well, and it hasn't.
Yeah, now my
yet.
computer's done. I'm trying to watch the do this while also watching it on the thing. It's not for the best. But yeah.
It should be popping up there any second now. Yeah, so you saw what King Ka's trains looked like. In a second,
Yeah.
you're gonna see what Cedar Point's trains look like. Same kind of ride.
Come on. Look
Here
at
we
the
go.
difference. Like, that looks so much nicer.
Yeah. Yeah, all you need is that little lap bar and you're all set. You're not gonna fly out. And this is why this coaster is ranked so much higher on my list than King Ka.
Yeah, I understand fully.
Now with King Ka, they took it one step further, okay? They put a drop tower on King Ka. Okay.
Oh, yeah, I've heard the problem with that is they basically can't send King Ka while the drop towers go in.
Exactly. It's called Zuma Manjaro Drop of Doom. And it's a 400-foot drop tower ride. And they thought it was a brilliant idea to also put virtual reality on it. So the
Wait, virtual reality? I didn't know that. Virtual reality on a drop.
Yes. So the operations for that are incredibly slower too. With that, not only you have to wait to send the train on King Ka, but they also have the VR headsets. And what it is if you have never been on it, spoiler alert, it was they raise you up, and the virtual reality was like a spider kind of thing. Like so, like when you get launched downward, you're gonna be like landing in like the spider's den and stuff like that. I personally never been on it before. To me, that doesn't appeal to me. Drop towers, it's not my thing. But moving on to what is considered by a lot of the enthusiasts one of the best rides at the park after Nitro, El Toro. El Toro, the wooden coaster there. Here is a picture of it. It has a monster drop and some monster.
Yeah. I've heard good things
hills.
from El Toro. It's meant to be one of the best woodies out there.
So I do agree until you get bigger. Once you get bigger, it gets super rough.
I can imagine that. Is it just a lap bar and the seatbelt, or is it like just a lap bar?
Lap bar and seatbelt, and it hurt last time I was on it. But
see, I don't agree. It annoys me with that. Then adding seatbelts to lap bar coasters, because it's just like you've already got a lap bar. You don't need a seatbelt as well, and it also just makes it even tighter.
Yeah, I mean this is a drop from El Toro, and this drop is absolutely insane. Let me get some other pictures of El Toro up here. By far, this is up there with Cedar Point coaster.
Yeah, because have you not ridden Steel Vengeance yet? Because that drop looks amazing on that.
No, unfortunately, I was there when they were building it, and I didn't get a chance to fully get on there yet. Unfortunately.
Oh, that looks like a drop and a half.
And the cool thing about it is, so the lift hill, you start going up it slowly, but then all of a sudden, like you get like it's almost I don't know what type of lift it is, but you get like launched up it at one point.
Oh, okay, that's quite cool. Yeah.
I got a better picture here. Plus, so for anybody that's watching and you're wondering what that the white wooden coaster is right next to it, that is a debunked or a defunct roller coaster. They don't have that anymore.
Oh, they
I
not removed it; they've just left it.
They left bits and pieces of it. Yes. I think actually, I think they only left one part of the track.
They might
Um,
as well just replace the track and use it for El Toro. That's what I would do.
well, see, I think that was an old picture that I had up. So right now they only have one little piece of the track there, and I think it was called Racer. If I'm honest, I'm not sure. I could be wrong. Here is a better picture of El Toro and its massive hills right there. Yeah, yeah. Once that decides to load up. Once I
Yeah, it's
was
not.
once I was going like I was in line for this thing and I saw I was watching it and I saw it go over one of these camelback hills and I saw somebody's flash pass go flying off and and it landed right onto the track too. But this is one of the roller coasters that I have before you get on you have to put everything in lockers, nothing in your pockets anymore. They
Oh,
make
I
you
don't. I don't agree with that. In the UK, we have none of that.
yeah.
You shouldn't have to pay for a locker for something that shouldn't be. They shouldn't expect you to have to pay to hold your luggage when you're gonna have luggage. You're gonna have stuff to put away. It's
Oh,
ridiculous.
see,
Like,
in US, most every park you go to has a locker place for to put lockers in. But now they're just getting crazier because now they're making you stick your hands in your pockets to basically prove that your pockets are empty for some of these rides.
are you allowed to have something if it's in zipped pocket?
I think so.
Okay, yeah, because I was gonna about to say, like,
But yeah, no,
surely you can have that.
these camelback, and especially at nighttime, you go flying through these.
Yeah, it's because though too many accidents of like phones flying out of people's things.
That's
Because the
exactly it. Yeah,
speed that they fly out of your pocket or your hand, it can kill someone. It's just it's not worth the hassle for the park, is it?
yeah. So that
But
is Six Flags Great Adventure, guys. That's pretty much it. They do have quite a bit of haunted houses that we went to. They've they were all right. They weren't able to touch you or anything.
yeah,
But
I didn't really mention everything about the Thorpe Park Fright Nights, by the way.
yeah,
So I thought maybe I could mention that. But yeah, with Thorpe Park Fright Nights, they're very good. They don't tend to have loads of new mazes, for instance. They'll have stuff that stays there for like 5, maybe 3, 4, 5 years sometimes. Sometimes less. But yeah, they like the Walking Dead the ride, for instance. It has 2 scare mazes, the Living Nightmare and the Walking Dead Do or Die. So that's pretty cool. 2 Walking Dead scare mazes. That's pretty good.
yeah. So with Great Adventure, like I said, this was our first time going to it. For Fright Fest. And so we were like, okay, this is gonna be cool. There was only really one that was really, really good. I can say like there was like your carnival one, so you got like clowns and stuff. And with me working at one for 7 years, I know what people are looking for. So my goals are always to try to like scare them or scare other people around us in the groups, which I technically usually do. Like if we're in like a dark corner, I like bang on
So you've
something.
worked in scare mazes before. That's
Oh
pretty
yeah,
cool.
every single year for 7 years.
Have you? Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, that's what this mask is from. Yeah,
Uh,
I've wore it last year, in the woods up at it's called 13 Nights at Chimney Peak. You have 2 haunted houses. It's at a ski resort. You got 2 haunted houses at the bottom of the mountain. Then they take you to the top of the mountain on a chairlift, and you do like a half-hour walk through in the woods with one person having a flashlight, and that's where I was last year with a
That
baseball
sounds
bat.
pretty cool. I've been an actor for one day. A Halloween attraction in the UK invited us down to do an experience where they got to be an actor for there. It was pretty cool though. I really enjoyed it. We got to play with, we got to use the chainsaws. That was insane. They let us have the chainsaws and run at people with them. People do run away. Do get scared when you run at them with a chainsaw. I'll be
Yeah, it's
honest.
always crazy, but I mean, the big thing is like in the U.S., you're definitely not allowed to touch anybody. Even if they sign up, like for us, they sign a waiver. They're not supposed to touch us. There are places in the U.S. that are scattered around where they are allowed to touch you and stuff like that. Like there's one place in New York City where they can literally do anything they want. Like you sign off on it and
Yeah, I'll
they have a
mention.
safe
Yeah,
word, but they can do literally anything. Like there was
yeah.
somebody that went through that got like animals' blood poured on them, stuff like that.
I'll mention attraction that I can think of in the UK. So the UK, very big Halloween events. Like it has, I think it's only been. I guess it has been a quite relevant thing for the last couple of years, but even more so the last 2 3 years. We have a lot of lately. We've had a lot of scream parks that
Yeah,
are like normally farms. So they have a lot of land, but they build these humongous scare mazes. Last year, one of my favourite events was called Tully's Shoptoberfest, and you just had, pardon me, these massive scare mazes. One of the best ones was a themed to a like Wastelands Penitentiary, and it had a massive show at the entrance with like cars and people with massive axes and everything, and fire effects and lighting. That was just insane. But the only other thing in the UK I think of though, the best scare maze, for instance, was actually at Chesington, which is the kids' park. They had a version of their scare maze called Creepy Caves Unearthed After Dark. You paid £10 per person. You had to sign a waiver to say that you allow them to touch you and everything, but it
yeah.
was worse. But in this maze, you go in groups of 2 to 4. It was okay. I don't know how to describe it. So instead of them just touching you, they physically like assaulted you almost. So
Yeah,
as soon as
it's
I
pretty
got in,
much.
we were shoved into like seats, and we was licked, kissed, spat on, drooled on, made to walk like a dog and bark like a dog. The second room I went to, I got into a chokehold, and then like dragged to the floor,
Yeah, I
pinned
mean,
against
there's
walls.
these places that like you win money for getting through them. Like, and
Yeah,
there's places where no one ever has because there's like a
really.
safe
Okay,
word
fair enough. This
and
this this was brand new for the UK last year, and there's never been an event in
oh
the UK
yeah,
really
like
like it.
I
Because I
believe
think
it's
I'll be
called
honest, parks are too scared. Sorry, parks are too scared to do scare mazes that intense because they don't know
yeah.
how people are going to perceive them. Do you get what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah, I get you. I think this place was called Blackout, I think. It's where you have to go by yourself. And the first thing you do is you sit in a chair, kind of like this, in a room, and all of a sudden, somebody comes up behind you and just grabs you and kind of goes like that. But there's some mazes where like you start in like groups, and like people will be picked off one by one, and you have to do your own
Yeah,
thing,
yeah,
like
yeah. They
stuff like
like to do
that.
that in the UK to split
Um,
you apart.
you don't get a lot of them around here because again, a lot of them are no contact.
Yeah. If you give me 1 second, I'll quickly do something. Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Where is it?
But while
Trying to
he's
find
doing
something.
that, we have a giveaway because we're running low on time for anybody in the chat here. Um, we're giving
Yeah.
away a park map that you saw of Thorpe Park. And let's see, what word should we choose?
So I'm gonna say, I'll look if I get up YouTube now. I can also help you choose someone. But the first person from when one of us says to comment one Thought Park roller coaster, its full name, okay, and I'll say in a second when to post it. But the first person, I guess you and me both at the same time see. I guess the best way is to put it. I guess you can also do it. The
yeah.
first person that you see does it, and I hope you remember some of the names of them. But the first person in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. First person to comment a Thorpe Park roller coaster in the chat.
We'll see. We'll see. So far, it's nothing. I know which one I would choose, but then again, that's me. Well, so what were you looking up when? What were you doing?
Oh, I was trying to find it. It's not on my channel. Annoyingly, it's on somebody else's channel because I don't think I could. I wasn't allowed to take my camera into this said maze. But if I show you it, theme park coasting. So someone else's account, but you can show this because it is me. If you know what I mean.
Yeah.
If I show you, but you can put this on screen. I wanted to show off how intense that maze was, because talking about it doesn't really put it to any sort of justice. If I find it quickly, where is it? There we are.
Well, we have a winner. WWE Inside Access Wrestling was close. That is a New Jersey coaster. You were going for King the Cod. That was at Great Adventure. The winner, you're gonna love this one. Laughs and Coasters. Saw the Ride.
Funny enough. Well done.
Saw the Ride is absolutely a roller coaster at Thorpe Park.
Yeah.
Now here's my question to you though, rides and laughs and coasters. Don't you have a Thorpe Park map? Have you been there? Maybe you haven't. I don't know.
He hasn't been.
Oh, awesome. So that'd be
He
cool.
hasn't been.
So yeah, get in touch with Theme Park Extreme. It won't be too hard. We're in a group chat, so you'll be able to get all the info.
Yeah. I've just sent you a link on Twitter.
Did you?
To the video of me going through that slightly intense maze.
Well, see, that's another thing too. Like over in the U.S., you're not allowed to film anything in mazes or something like that. They don't.
So okay, funny enough with this, you'll see if you pull the video up if you go onto Twitter and show the link. It's of me, so I guess you're allowed to.
Yeah, let me see.
You'll see on the video the actor literally looks at the camera quite clearly, but keeps letting him record it, and then before he abuses us even more, then stops him filming. But we were allowed to film them dragging us out of it. You pull that video up, see, I'm in the thumbnail itself.
Yeah, I'm trying to find a part.
I messaged you on Twitter, I think.
Yeah.
Shouldn't get copyrighted if we show on here, because it is literally me. Just by filmed with someone else.
It's looking it's blocking me here, but yeah, I see what you mean. Like to be fair, they do have haunt zones at Six Flags, like places where you can go, and there'll be people jumping out and stuff like that, and so they do have what's called haunt zones. And so at Great Adventure, they had one really cool maze that I gotta definitely shout out. It was they give everybody gloves, these plastic gloves. I'm sure they probably went through a ton of them and thinking of it now, but so it's these plastic gloves, and you go in, and it's a mirror maze. I've never seen one of these type of mazes ever in the U.S., and I think it's going to become more of a thing now, which is awesome. It's literally a maze of mirrors, but there's people hidden in sections. So there's somebody in this big room.
They've had that in the past at Thorpe Park in one of their own mazes. Yeah.
Yeah,
but
you
don't
know,
like that.
You don't know where they're coming from, and there's 3 of them, and it's only one person, and then there's images that pop up too, stuff like that. Also, they have in this one part of the a maze. It was the cell block maze. It was awesome, and they totally missed an opportunity of having a huge jump scare. I don't get scared easily, but I was definitely uneasy in this one section. You turn this corner, and you have to walk through a straight line, and on both sides of you are these giant dummy figures with a sheep mask on, just staring at you. So you're like in a hallway full of them, like lined up on each side of you. And they totally missed the mark of having somebody be standing there and jumping out. That would have been perfect.
Oh yeah, yeah. I went to quite a lot of Halloween attractions this year. There was one called Dr. Fright's Halloween Nights.
Yeah,
It's quite a small, very local event. It's actually quite nice. This event was all the actors were volunteers from a college.
yeah,
So the best thing about that is they were really like because they were working for free. I guess it was a passion, something they were all drama students, so you could clearly see they were like passionate about it. There was this one scare maze which was loads of American horror movies, and there was one psycho room and about 50 models. You have to go in the middle, so probably about 25 seats with like models, yeah, with
yeah.
Scream kind of mask on, and 5 or 6 of them were actual actors,
That's what they
but
should have done. That's what they should have
they were
done. They
really
missed it.
well spread out.
Yeah.
That was really good. But that one scare maze, yeah, had Scream, Freddy versus Jason, It, Saw, and another movie all in one thing. That was brilliant.
Oh, guys, I have ran out of time here. It was really fun talking Thorpe Park and the Great Adventure, Six Flags Great Adventure. Um, Let me know in comments who won this little debate, which park you think was better, all that. I do have a challenge out to, and I've never done this yet before. So this is gonna be fun. I'm challenging Theme Park Days to one of these. I want to get him on this, and I want to challenge him to the next one that I do. Because
So I
this,
wonder. I wonder what he chooses. That's interesting. I wonder what he'll choose.
I wonder what he's gonna choose, and I'm gonna put it out there right now. I'm choosing my home park. I'm choosing Six Flags New England. It's not the best park by far, but it's one I haven't done yet, and it's one that I know pretty much the most about. So, Theme Park Days, if you watch this, Coaster Maniacs is challenging you to a theme park war. Let's see if you answer the challenge. Where can they
Ooh.
find you on your social media?
So you can follow me on Theme Park Extreme on YouTube, just at I guess just Theme Park Extreme. On Twitter, Theme Park Extreme. On Instagram, Theme Park Extreme. On Facebook, Theme Park Extreme. And that's pretty much everything. But yeah, if you want to, you can subscribe, follow. Great. I'm trying to get the 1,000 subscriber mark, hopefully by the end of the year. So that's pretty cool.
All
But
right,
yeah.
guys, with that same thing, you can follow me everywhere at Theme Park. Wow, that's you, not me. Follow me everywhere at Coaster Maniacs. I'm on Twitter all the time. YouTube, obviously, you're watching me on my channel. Go ahead, hit the subscribe button. I just hit over 300. Might be reenacting a scene from the movie 300 for a 300 subscriber special. Thanks, Moda. Appreciate it.